Okay, we start part B, more features of JavaScript. B.1, positioning and mouse event. In this part, we will learn two topics. The first one, positioning topic, and the second one, mouse event topic. The first one, I will use two examples. Second one example. So let's look at our first example about absolute positioning. In the CSS part, I explained the absolute. So when you set the position property to absolute, what is the meaning? But at that time, we just talk about the rules, requirements, right? Those things. We didn't do any example. Here, let me use two examples to explain the concepts we learned in the CSS part. Example. For this example, we only use one HTML file because it is a CSS feature. We don't need a JavaScript. So the example is very simple. So here, let me show you the CSS part, the style part, two classes. .reg text, the first class, second .abs text. These two, we want to show what is the exact meaning of absolute positioning. All right, and here, the first one we use as the element, parent element. And then the focus, our focus is on the second element. The second element, we use the style. So that is a child node of this, its parent node. So what is that child node, parent node? So that kind of concept. So here there is one concept, DOM concept. Document object model. Document object model. All right, So this concept, the web browser uses this model to create a structure representing the current document. How to render an HTML file document. It uses this model. So what is that model? Tree structure model. Okay, all right. For example, when you have an element, for example, tag 1 something, right? Tag 1. Inside tag 1, you have tag 2. This creates a parent-child relationship. Okay? Tag 1 is the parent node. Tag 2, the child node. Okay? Things like that. So that's the so-called DOM, D-O-M, document object model. Here, I do not expand too much about this concept. In our part 3, B.3 of this lecture, this part B, I will explain that DOM, HTML DOM concept. All right, so here, because here, in order to understand it better, so I give you some simple explanation on this DOM model. In our B.3, we will learn systematically, so you will get a much better understanding for that part. But here we know this is used for the parent node. This is used for the child node. All right. Next, I show you this is the concrete element parts. The P is used as the parent node because it's external, outside part, P, right? Inside the P, we have this span element. So that's the nested relationship. Okay? Then, how to do the absolute positioning? Based on what we learned in the CSS part, absolute positioning. What is the rule? So here, let me recall it. The position, when you set, because you use left, top, left, right? So you use these things to set location. Location with respect to nearest positioned ancestor element. Okay, nearest positioned. So what's the position? Non-static. If it's static, we do not count it as a positioned element. Okay, its position must be non-static. Here, look at the position here. Oh, this one, the position. That's strange. Because this one, we do not mention its position property, right? We don't mention the position property, then this one is static. Okay, all right. If it is static, then with respect to, not with this one, with respect to, you're going up. Okay, look at the positioned element. If you cannot find, remember we use body. With respect to the body. Okay, if we cannot find any positioned ancestor element, we will use the body element. So for this example, we have to use the body element. So when you do absolute positioning with respect to the body part, okay, so that's the rule. That's the rule. All right. Then look at the result. Result is very straightforward. So that's the result. The text for this part. So that's the look like the background part. Okay. Then this part overlap on top of it. Because this part, we use the absolute position property. All right, top 25 pixels, left 25 pixels with respect to body. So you have a body element. Suppose this is a body element, right? Body element. Then how to place this part? Okay, this part, top 25 pixel from top, left 25 pixel from the left. So that's how you arrange the location. Okay, absolute positioning. So that's the meaning. But if, for example, if you want to make this part positioned, here we use this word positioned. Positioned means non-static. If it's static, we do not call positioned. Okay, non-static. If you want to make it positioned, you need to set its position value either relative or absolute, set other values, but not default. Then when you do this, okay, when you place this absolute, it will with respect to this nearest positioned ancestor element. Okay, so that concept. All right. Actually, in our textbook, we have second example. The second example will set this positioned. Absolute. Actually, it used the absolute positioning type. Yeah. Although I can give you the second one, yeah, so you can compare a little bit. Yeah. Here, I think to explain the meaning, it should be enough. Okay, for the first example. Yeah. All right. So let's move to the second example. It is called relative positioning. Yeah. So these two most frequently used, absolute positioning, relative positioning, these two types, the most frequently used positioning styles. Okay. Yeah. All right. So let me give you the second example. It's called rel.pos.html. Yeah. I also include the examples in the zip file, so you can download and play around, test it by yourself. Yeah. The structure is similar to the first one. Yeah. Two classes. Yeah. One for parent node, one for child node. Okay. Yeah. All right. So then, but the class for the child node, we use the position relative. So what's the meaning of relative? So let us recall. So different from the absolute positioning. Relative. Relative to what? Relative to its natural position. Yeah? Because if we remove the relative position style, property, yeah, if we remove that, this element has its natural location, right? The browser will place it in some natural location. Yeah. All right. Now, relative positioning, we make an adjustment with respect to that relative position. That simple. Okay. All right. So here, let me use one simple example to describe it. Yeah. Here, what is the meaning? Top 15 pixels. Okay. Top 15 pixels. Here, let me explain the meaning. Then I show you the screenshots. Yeah. All right. Suppose this element has its natural positioning. Okay. So suppose this is its natural position. Okay. The browser determines this location for this element. Now, relative. So relative to this position. So it is the starting point, this position. All right. What's the meaning top 15 pixels? Top. So we know top, right? 15. Positive number, right? Positive number. This is the positive direction. Negative, move up, negative direction. Move down, positive direction. Okay? All right. 15 means, so you move down by 15 pixels. Yeah. Move down. Okay? Yeah. You know, same box. Yeah. And same box, but we move down 15 pixels. Okay? 15 pixels. Move down. Okay? Yeah. That's the relative position. Yeah. Similarly, you can do the left, positive, yeah, negative, right, positive, negative, right, bottom, positive, negative, right, yeah. So you can see positive going inner direction. So positive direction going inside the box. That's the positive direction. Positive direction. Okay. So positive. Outside. That's the negative direction. Okay. Outside direction. That's the negative direction. Okay. Outside negative direction. Okay. So that is the way how do you adjust an element with respect to its relative natural location. Yeah. Let me show you the picture. Screenshots too, you can compare. Okay. The first one, that's good. We did relative adjustment, moving down. Okay. This without moving, without natural location. So here you can see, yeah. So you can see, this baseline. Yeah. Let's draw the baseline, right? Yeah. So the natural location, the bottom touch the baseline, right? Then the adjusted location, so you move down by 15 pixels. Okay, so that's the difference. Okay, so you can see easily. That's the difference. Okay, all right. So this is the second example. All right. So we complete the CSS part, positioning. Yeah. The third example, the JavaScript example, MouseEvent. Yeah, event, but we use mouse to generate event and trigger an event handler function. Yeah. All right. So this one, I can show you the demo. Yeah. So this one, I can show you the demo because it's very simple. Yeah. After you see the demo, then we can discuss better. So, you know, in your mind, you can imagine, you know, what is the feature we expect, right? Yeah. So let me get out of this and bring up the, oh yeah, this one. So when you open the file, you just see nothing, blank. So don't worry, for this example, you need to put your mouse click on the page. I cannot trigger the event. Yeah. So let me connect my keyboard. Yeah. So you see, when I click, okay, I click screen anywhere, you see a message, right? Yeah. When I release mouse, it's gone. Okay. Click. Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, yeah. Because the reason, if I click put here, you don't see, because it's out of the bound. Out of the bound. Yeah. Out of the body. Yeah. Because we use the body element to register the event handler. Yeah. So probably the browser set the body element, some region, yeah, some region, but if you get out of that region, you cannot. Yeah, no response. Okay, yeah. Horizontally, so you have everything, but vertically, yeah. So there is a location. Yeah, there is a bound. There is a bound. Okay. All right. So that's the feature. Next, let us discuss how to implement this feature. Yeah. All right, so let's continue this slide. Yeah. All right. Example. Oh, yeah. Right. Yeah. It is slow. Yeah. All right. So two files. Anyway, yeah. I put in a zip file, anywhere.html plus anywhere.js, two files. Let's look at the HTML file first. In the HTML file, we register event handler to the body element, but we registered two event handlers for two different events. The first event called on mouse down. You press on mouse down, you press it, it triggered that event, mouse down. Okay? So then it displayed that red message. Okay? The second one, you release. Okay? So on mouse up, you release. Then you trigger that on mouse up event. Then it calls another function to hide that message. So it's gone, disappear. Yeah. So that's the two events. Yeah. So you can see very natural. Yeah. So this is the message part. Yeah. So that, put a style. So what do you see? Yeah. That's the message part. Other than that, the body, other places all empty. So that's why you see the empty screen. Yeah. All right. So this is the HTML file. All right. Then the critical thing, event object. The main topic of this example is event object. Yeah, JavaScript, we say object-oriented, so we use many objects, right? Yeah, this event object is very important. Okay, yeah. So this is a general object, event. Yeah, every time you make action, you trigger some event. That event, yeah. Here you see the parameter of the function displayed event. The object name event. Object name. Okay, so you want to pass that event object to your JavaScript event handler function. Okay, so that's the obvious meaning. Yeah. All right, so what is the event? The definition. When an event happens, so any kind of event, okay? Yeah, there are a long list of events. So here we do not, list all of them. Yeah. So mouse event, button click, hyperlink click, many different kinds of events we can have. Yeah. Here we talk about just one general event. Okay. The browser creates an event object. The browser needs to use one concrete object to represent that event. So you can do a lot of things through that event object. That is the one we have here. This event. This is the object name. Okay? Object name. Exactly, this is the one. Okay? The object name. So you just call it. Okay? Browser knows you want to use the event object. Yeah. All right. Then for the details, all right, this event object can contain a lot of details. So later you will see we need a lot of details from this event object. For example, when you click your mouse on the screen, the location of your mouse is important, right? The mouse tip, the location, that is important. X coordinate, Y coordinate. Why we can display a red message exactly at our mouse click location. Why can't we can do that? Because we retrieve the XY coordinates of the mouse click location. Yeah. So that comes from the details here. Okay? Yeah. Although you could have other information you need. Yeah. All right. So then pass it to an argument of the handler. Yeah. So argument of handler JavaScript function. Yeah. So that's simple. Yeah. So the first event handler, we need to use this object because we want to know the coordinates. So we pass this object. But for the second one, we don't need this object. Second event handler, hide it. We just want to hide that element, right? We don't need a coordinate, right? Because if we have that element, we just hide it. Okay, so we don't need any other information. We only need that object information. But object information, we get it from the first event handler, right? So we don't need to get a new one. Okay, so that's why the second one, we don't need to pass event. Okay, yeah. All right, then let me give you the two event types. So here you can see we already know that what is the meaning of that event. On mouse down. Yeah, here the name on mouse down. Here you can see this on. Whenever we want to refer to the event name in our element, register event to event handler element, we refer to the event. We use that on. Okay, on. Yeah. But later you will see when we want to refer to this event inside our JavaScript function, we do not use on. We cut off that on, okay? We only use mouse down. We want to refer the same event, but inside our JavaScript function, not in HTML file, in our JavaScript function. So we do not use, we use the version without on. Yeah. In this way, we can separate the usage, but because the usage is slightly different. In HTML element, one case. In JavaScript functions, another case. So we want to separate those two cases. So that's why this on is used to separate. Yeah. All right. So we'll press mouse button, trigger this event. Okay, generate this event. Mouse up, release mouse button. So you trigger, generate that event. Yeah, that's simple. Yeah. Next, anywhere JavaScript function. So this time we want to, display the message, but we need to figure out the location where to display. Okay, we use that CSS. Yeah. So here you can see the CSS. So style, right? Style, CSS. Position. This time we use relative position. Okay. Yeah. So relative to the body, relative, not body, relative to its natural location, right? It has natural location. Okay. Yeah. The browser assign it a natural location. Yeah. From there, then we use, how do we change it? Yeah. All right. Here you can see left, top, bottom. So no values. No value means zero value. Initial value is 0. Okay. No value means 0 value. Initial value is 0. Okay. All right. So we start from there. Then we call the function. The first event handler display EVT. So here EVT. So we use event. Here we use EVT. Okay. Because here is the parameter variable. Okay. Here we use it as a parameter variable. Okay. Parameter variable, it is a variable, right? Yeah, it is a variable, parameter variable. Yeah. Then the object we pass it to replace this parameter variable. Okay? Yeah. So here we intentionally use EVT. Yeah. Although if you use event, it is okay, but it's not good because event, you use the same spelling as the event object name. Although it works, but it causes confusion, right? So when people read your code, so when they see event, is this the JavaScript or HTML event object or your variable name, your own variable name? So that will cause confusion. You don't want to do that. So that's why, to avoid the confusion, you should intentionally use different spelling for your own variable, EVT spelling. Yeah. E also okay, right? EV, all okay, just different from event. Okay. All right, so in that way. Now, then inside the function, first we get the object from the message element. Okay, yeah. So the span, the message element. So we want to put our control on this object. So it is an object. Then we retrieve its current location. Okay, so whatever it is, yeah, the current location. Yeah. Oh, we're not retrieve, we assign. Remember? Yeah, this is assignment statement, right? Yeah. It is its old location. We don't care, whatever it is. Okay? Old location, we don't care. Okay? Yeah. But we assign new location. New location, EVT, because we pass event to replace this EVT. So here, EVT, we use that event object. Event object, it has the property client, capital X property. It's X coordinate. So it's X coordinate, we call, the property name. X coordinate, property name is client X. Y coordinate, property name is client Y. Okay? Yeah. All right. So you retrieve the mouse tip location, X coordinate, Y coordinate. But after that, you adjust a little bit. Minus 130 pixels, 25 number for the pixel unit. Yeah. How do you know you need to minus these two numbers? Nothing special. You just do experiment. You do a lot of experiments. Yeah. Which value you feel the best? The most natural way to put that message. Then you use that number. Make adjustment through experiments. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So after that, we want to make it from hidden because original value of visibility is hidden. Okay? Now we want to show it. So we change it to visible. So you can see it. Then the second event handler, now after the mouse leave the screen, so we release, we lift our mouse point, you change it back to hidden. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, because so you can get that object easily, right? You can get object easily. So then you set visibility property to hidden. So you hide it. Yeah. So that's simple. Yeah. Yeah. Here, through this simple example, I think you can learn a lot of things. Yeah. But the most important thing is how to understand the event object. How to pass this object to an event handler, and how to use it inside an event handler. All these things, if you can understand, then you can write your own program. Yeah. All right, so we finish part B.1.